Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another video of Be the Best DFS Daily Fantasy Sports Talk. Today is Tuesday, January 24th, 2017, and I'll be going over my GPP strategy for FanDuel's NBA Slate tonight. I know I haven't been on in a while, but with my work schedule, it's kind of hard to put these videos together consistently. But if I ever hit big on this daily fantasy and able to go full time, I'll be sure to come out with a consistent schedule. For those of you who don't know, my name is Bradford Best. I'm not a professional or anything. I just have a strong interest in daily fantasy. Try to put together these lineups, to try to win some money. If you've been following on social media via Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, you've seen, throughout the past week, I've had a few successful nights. Sunday was the last night I did really good. But, enough of that. My motto is count the wins as blessings. Losses teach lessons. Last night I was losing, but the lesson that I learned is when these impact players are out, for example, Anthony Davis last night, you really have to put strong consideration in to the players who's going to take up the usage, like Jrue Holiday and Terrence Jones. That news came out so late last night and right before lock, and just didn't have enough time to process the right strategy or make the proper adjustments. So I missed out on winning last night. But today is a new day, a new opportunity to be great, a new opportunity to be the best. So with that being said, I'm going to get started, with tonight's slate. So we have a 6-game slate tonight, a nice number, not too small, not too big. I'm going to go over the over-under totals and the point spread for each game. San Antonio at Toronto, a 207.5 over or under, with the San Antonio being a 3.5 point favorite. The Los Angeles Clippers at Philadelphia 76ers, a 205 total, with the Clippers being a 4.5 favorite. Boston at Washington, a 217 total, with Boston being a 1 point favorite. Chicago at Orlando, a 206 total, with Chicago being favored by 2. Utah at Denver, a 211 total, with Denver being favored by 2.5. In the last game, Minnesota at Phoenix, a 213.5 total, with the spread being even right now. So it's about 12:43 in the afternoon, so a lot of things can change between now and lock. So I'm going to go over position by position, just give you guys my top GPP plays, and we'll call it a day after that. So starting off at the first position, the point guard position. My favorite GPP play on the slate would be Eric Bledsoe at 9,300. Bledsoe, his last game, he had a very, very good game. 40 real life points, 62.7 fantasy points. His price tag at 9,300, he needs to get about 46, 47 fantasy points, to reach that 5x value that we're looking for. If you look at, his last 4 games, he's got at least 40 fantasy points, surpassing 45 fantasy points in 3 of the last 4 games. When you consider the slate, I feel that for GPPs, his ownership, it probably will be high, but I think it's worth it. A lot of people may run to the John Wall versus Isaiah Thomas matchup, and I think that's a good way to go. If you decide to stack the Washington and Boston game, then you can go Wall and Isaiah Thomas in your lineup, because it's the highest total game. It's a competitive game, and you never know. Those two guys, high usage rates, they could go at it with each other, so that is a way to go. But if you're trying to get away from that game, which I feel will be the most chalky game, I think Bledsoe is a great option at point guard, and he's my favorite, GPP play. He's not just scoring dependent. He score points. He gets assists. He can get you to around that 5 to 6 rebound range. If you look at his game log, the last 6 games, he's gotten at least 5 rebounds. And then he can also block shots to get a couple steals every now and then. And again, like I read off earlier, it should be an up-tempo game, the second highest game total on the slate. And with the line being even, you never know. You might get a overtime tonight between the Timberwolves and the Suns. So, Bledsoe is my favorite play at point guard. Again, John Wall and Isaiah Thomas, I think they're good plays, especially if you stack the game. I do think John Wall is slightly overpriced, though. He is a great player. He should easily get to 50 fantasy points tonight. But, at a 10,700 price tag, you looking for him to get, 55 or 60 plus, at that price tag. So, I'm really probably not going to use him, but I'm not going to, sway you away from using him because he's a great player with high usage in a good spot. Other, players that I want to talk about at the point guard position. Kyle Lowry, I think he's interesting. If you're doing just a single entry, making one lineup, I wouldn't advise using him. But, DeMar DeRozan is out, so that probably increases his usage. He probably gets a couple more shots, but he's still playing against the San Antonio Spurs. Tony Parker is out, but again, it's the Spurs who play a good team defense, and his price is not low. The only positives that I see about Kyle Lowry tonight is two things: DeRozan is out, and his ownership should be extremely low. And with the low ownership, if he's able to have, a massive fantasy performance, say 50 fantasy points tonight, it'll bode well for you in your lineup because I just can't see him having high ownership percentage. So if you want to play the ownership game, and I think Lowry is in play, but I just think of the Spurs as a team defense being, strong defensively. And, I just don't think it's a risk that I'm willing to take. And another thing that I would like to add, they played the Spurs on January 3rd. And in that game, he only had 12.8 fantasy points. Only scored 6 real points. So when I factor in those things, Kyle Lowry, he's high risk tonight. The only positives are that he will be low owned and there's no DeRozan. So if you want to take that risk, go ahead and take it. But for me, I'm not going to do that. Other point guards on this slate. I do like Ricky Rubio. The only problem is there's a concern about how many minutes he's going to play. If you tell me Ricky Rubio is going to play 30 to 35 plus minutes, then I love him tonight. But, the fact that Chris Dunn, he played pretty well in the last game on Sunday, almost got a triple-double, that may cut into Rubio's minutes. So it's questionable to me about how many minutes Rubio's going to get. And being that I'm not sure of it, and at his price tag of $6,500, is someone that I probably won't be interested in tonight. But, if you feel that Rubio is going to get his normal allotment of minutes, then I think he's a good play, in that game. Because he's a high assist total guy, and he's had a few games off. And he definitely can get you to that, 30 to 40 fantasy point range to hit that 5X level on FanDuel. It's been announced that Tony Parker has been ruled out. So that puts DeJounte Murray and Patty Mills in play. Murray, he messed up on last night. He laid the egg. He didn't even hit 20 fantasy points, I don't believe. Patty Mills, he did do well. For me, with Tony Parker being out, I would lean on Patty Mills. I was getting some text messages. I like Patty Mills. I just feel that, he's a better scorer. Although Murray is starting, he showed last night that, he's still learning the NBA game. He's a rookie. So I feel like Patty Mills is a little safer. It's been announced that Jerry Grant, is starting in place of Michael Carter-Williams. At 3,600, he could be value simply because he's starting. but I just don't really see a high upside for him for GPPs. But he's definitely in play simply because of the fact that he's starting. And I think the last news that you have to kind of wait on and look out for is Moutier. I can't remember the guy, Emmanuel Moutier. If he's out, then that opens the door for Jameer Nelson and Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray put up 28 fantasy points the last game with Moutier out. And those two players are in play based on whether or not Moutier plays tonight. And that's about it at the point guard position. Again, to give my overall view on point guard, Bledsoe, he's my favorite play. Wall and Isaiah Thomas, they're definitely in play. If you want to be real sneaky, Kyle Lowry is in play simply because DeRozan is not playing and he should be low owned facing San Antonio defense. Now, let me quickly move on to the shooting guard position. At shooting guard tonight, my favorite GPP play of the night, it's going to seem crazy, but I like Gary Harris. I really like Gary Harris. Utah, they're playing their third game in 4 nights. I think they may be tired tonight. Harris, his last game, he played 35 minutes, got 33 fantasy points. I figure his ownership would be low. His price is a decent price of $5,000. He only needs 25 points, fantasy points, to reach that 5x value. I like Harris. It's not a lot to choose from at shooting guard position, in my opinion. DeRozan, he's out. Wade, yeah, he had a 55 fantasy point game the last game, but how likely is he to have 50 fantasy points 2 games in a row? I could be wrong. Beal, he played last night. He's battling with some knee injuries. He could be good, but I just don't really want to pay that price for him. Bradley is out. Zach LaVine, he really hasn't been the same so far since he came back from his injury. So I really like Gary Harris tonight, especially with that game time decision thing. A lot of people may be scared of that, but it says that he's probable tonight. So Gary Harris is my favorite shooting guard on the slate tonight on FanDuel. I also like Booker. I didn't mention, my favorite game is the Minnesota at Phoenix game. It's the second highest total. I really like that game. Up tempo, a lot of young players. So Booker, one thing about Devin Booker for the Phoenix Suns, he's gonna get his minutes. Just check the game logs. He plays over 35 minutes every night, and he shoots the ball at least double digits. He do struggle at getting the peripheral statistics as far as rebounds and assists, but he's going to be out on the court and he's going to shoot the ball. He's not too high, 6,500. He only needs 32.5 to reach that 5x value. So I like Devin Booker as well. Kind of looking at the rest of the shooting guards. Norman Powell, he's in play. Again, it's against the San Antonio Spurs, but it's been reported that he's going to be the probable starter. So at 3,900, if you're looking for value, Norman Powell, he's in play as well. But, other than that, that's my overall thoughts at shooting guard. Again, Booker and Gary Harris, I like both of them. Norman Powell is in play. And other than that, it's not a position that I feel you should pay up for. I could be wrong, but that's just my thoughts. Let me quickly move on. Small forward position. You got Kawhi Leonard. You got Kawhi Leonard there for 10,000, but I'm just not interested in him. I'm want to pay up somewhere else. I'll get to it when I when I go over the other positions. So my favorite small forward, it would be Andrew Wiggins. Basically because, again, I like the Suns and the Minnesota Timberwolves. I like that game as a whole. I think it just has a lot of tremendous fantasy value tonight. I will say that Wiggins, he's very inconsistent. He can get you 30 to 40 fantasy points on any given night, and he can give you 15 or less any given night. I have experience with him, burning me. So definitely, I know he's highly volatile, but let's see. Looking at his game log, hey, the last time he played the Phoenix Suns, he had 26 real points. So just the simple fact for me targeting this game between the Timberwolves and the Suns, I think Wiggins is a play that I'm going to go for in GPPs. Damn. Sorry about that. Gordon Hayward, again, with Utah, this is like their third game in 4 nights, so I really don't have too much interest in any Utah Jazz players. I do think Joe Ingles, he's in play simply because of his price of $4,200, no Rodney Hood. The game has a high total for it to be a Jazz game, a high total of 211. So Rodney Hood, Joe Ingles, I think he's in play only because of his price and if you're looking for value. Jimmy Butler, I think he might just be a little too high tonight on the road versus Orlando. Aaron Gordon will be defending him. Butler, he's an all-star player. I just don't really see the need to pay up for him tonight. Now, other players at the small forward position, I would say Otto Porter and J.R. Crowder. They're in play if you're basing your lineup around that Washington and Boston game. If you're basing your lineup around that game, definitely either one or both of them, Porter and Crowder, they're in play. But if you're not basing your lineup around that game, I don't feel there's a need to just put them in your lineup as individual plays. But if you kind of just stack, the Wizards and the Celtics, definitely Porter and Crowder are great plays. And the only other small forward that I would like to mention, Shabazz Muhammad. I think he could provide possible great value. I'm not sure what went on the last game, but he played 33 minutes. I think he shot the ball 9 for 14, 33 minutes, 20 real points. So at 3,700, only needing like 17, maybe 18 fantasy points to reach value, something like that. If he gets those minutes in this game, he's definitely a good play a good value play at small forward, in my opinion. So again, for me, small forward, Andrew Wiggins, he's my top play. The other guys, they're good. Leonard and Butler, I just don't want to pay up at this position. Have no interest in Hayward. Think he got some tired legs. And again, if you're focusing on the Boston and Washington game, Porter and Crowder, they're definitely in play. Moving on, power forward position. It's been announced that Blake Griffin is going to play, or probable to play tonight, but you just don't know how many minutes he's going to play, so I think he's kind of risky. But my favorite power forward play is going to be Jokic, the Joker, at 9,800. I know he's a high price tag, and I know he's going up against Rudy Gobert, a great defender. But my reasoning for picking Jokic is mainly trying to predict the ownership percentages. When you look at those two factors, the high price of 9,800 and in a negative matchup against a great defender in Rudy Gobert, I foresee that his ownership would be kind of low. And in GPPs, where I look to get low owned guys who have high upside, I think Jokic is just a good play tonight. His upside, he's shown over the past couple of weeks that he has the potential to get 50 plus fantasy points. And, again, it's mainly because I don't think a lot of people will be on him. But when you look at the power forward considerations tonight, I think he has the highest upside. I guess LaMarcus Aldridge is in play because The Raptors really don't have a good power forward to defend him, so he's in play. Marcus Morris, Markieff Morris, excuse me. He's been very consistent the last week and a half or so, getting at least 25 to 30 or more fantasy points every game. So again, it's very, very important, in my opinion, when you're building your lineups tonight. If you're focused on that Boston and Washington game, if that's your top game to target, then of course I think Markieff Morris is in play, along with John Wall and Isaiah Thomas, J.R. Crowder, and Otto Porter, maybe Beal or Gortat. So if you're doing the game stack, definitely Markieff Morris is in play. But again, my favorite game is Minnesota and Phoenix, and I also like the Denver and Utah game. But so Joker, he's gonna be my favorite play at power forward. Another possible value play at power forward, Nerlens Noel at $4,000. We know Joel Embiid is out in the front court, and Jahlil Okafor, he's been downgraded to questionable. So if we know Embiid is out, if Okafor is out as well, that just opens up minutes opportunities in the front court. And Noel, I think he's a good play, a good value play at that price tag of $4,000. He can get to that 20 fantasy points to reach that 5x value. Another GPP play that I kind of want to mention, because I do like this game between Minnesota and Phoenix. Chris for the Phoenix Suns. Not saying he's going to go out there and get 30 or 40 fantasy points, but at 3,700, and I believe Bender, one of the forwards on the Suns, he's questionable tonight. And in just that game, the up-paced game, Chris, he's a starter. I think he could provide some great value also if you're looking for value at the power forward position. And let me talk Ilyasova. Ilyasova is also a decent play at the power forward position. Again, especially if those two front court players in Embiid and Okafor are out. Ilyasova, I think he's a good play. I don't think he has the 40 fantasy point upside, but more so for your cash games, he probably can get there to that 30 fantasy points to reach that 5x value. So that's my thoughts on the power forward position, the Joker, my top play. And now the last position, center position. This is going to be real quick because I just didn't really look at no one else. I like Karl Anthony Towns. I just like him. The game, his history versus the Phoenix Suns, I think he's averaging over 40 fantasy points versus them. The last game on December 19th had 50.5 fantasy points. This guy plays his minutes. They had an off day yesterday, so his legs should be a little rested up. Karl Anthony Towns is my top center and really my top GPP play tonight. I just really, really like him. He can shoot free throws. He plays minutes. Rookie of the year. I don't really even know how to explain it. I just do this stuff off the freestyle. I don't have no computer in front of me. I just got my phone and I'll just watch the basketball games and, do my research as I make my lineups. But I just think he's in a great spot. I'll mention some of the other centers just to mention them. But I'm telling y'all now, I'm playing Karl Anthony Towns, period, point blank. But DeAndre Jordan could be a sneaky play. If their front court players are out, he could dominate on the boards. So I definitely think he's in play. I don't like Gobert. Again, I don't really like any Jazz players because I just think their legs are tired. Third game in 4 nights, traveling after the game last night. I don't like Gobert. I don't think he gets that 5x value tonight. Again, like I've been saying throughout this video, if you're focused on that Boston and Washington game and looking at stacking it, definitely Al Horford, he's in play. Chandler, I don't know. His price done kind of creeped up. He was nice when he was like in the 5,000 range, or even I think he was at 4,900 at one point in last week. But at 6,200, I just don't know how much he can exceed value. He could be in play for cash games, but I don't know about GPPs. Gortat, he's in play if you're stacking that game. If you're focused on that game, Gortat is in play. But other than that, there's nothing else I really see at the center position. Again, there are other centers in play, but for me personally, Karl-Anthony Towns. And that game, Minnesota at Phoenix, that's my favorite game, to target tonight. So basically, that's my GPP lineup strategy for tonight's NBA slate. Again, a quick overview. Favorite point guard is Eric Bledsoe. John Wall and Isaiah Thomas, they're in play if you're targeting that game. Favorite shooting guards, I like Booker and Gary Harris. I like Harris mainly because of his price, and I like Booker because of the game. That's the game I'm targeting. Small forward position, again, I like Andrew Wiggins because I'm targeting that specific game, but you can never go wrong with picking Kawhi Leonard or Jimmy Butler just because of the great players that they are. Power forward position, Joker. I don't even know this guy's first name. Nikola Jokic. He's my favorite play, and that's mainly because of trying to foresee the ownership percentage on this particular slate. And he's just a great player, and he does have high upside. I will admit again, Jokic, he is in a negative matchup because Gobert is a great defender. But I just like him as a GPP play. Not really sure about cash games, but for GPPs, I do like Jokic. There's some extreme value with Nerlens Noel, especially if the two front court players are out. Blake Griffin, he is playing, but who knows how many minutes he played. But in Marcus Morris, definitely, he's in play if you're focusing on that Boston-Washington game. And yeah, that's about it for power forward. And lastly, I don't really have much analysis on center position. There are a lot of centers in play, but for me, 100% Karl-Anthony Towns. So that's it for my FanDuel GPP lineup strategy. As always, I want to thank everyone who's taking the time out to view this video. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed to the YouTube channel. And thank you to everyone who's following all across social media. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and of course this YouTube. If you want to find me, just type in that hashtag be the best DFS, and you'll see everything that I'm talking about, and see what I'm trying to do in this daily fantasy industry. I can't let this video go out without representing for my Falcons. Y'all, I've been telling y'all all year, we in the Super Bowl. Rise up. Hopefully we can win the Super Bowl and win this first one, for the city of Atlanta. It'll be a great thing. I'm really excited about that. But I'm not going to keep going on and on, talking and talking. Close the video out. As always, y'all know my motto in this in this daily fantasy thing. I count the wins as blessings and the losses teach lessons. Like, I truly mean that, because daily fantasy, it is a skill, and it's not anything easy. You have to really work at it. And whenever I'm able to win a few dollars or whatever, I definitely count it as a blessing. And when I don't win, and just come up short, I try to learn from it. So I count those losses as lessons. But again, thank you to everyone. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Hope y'all lineups do well tonight, and hopefully we can all win some money tonight. And that's it. I'll close it out like I always do. Try to be the best tonight. All right, I'm out.